Hey, what's up, people? Mark Duncan here, running as Oregon's next governor. I want to take a second. I want to talk about the plan. Now, this is by far going to be the longest video that I've made, and probably the most important. So I'm going to go over exactly what it is the plan is. So first, it's all about uniting the 29 counties that have been silenced for far too long. And here's how. The first step, I want to send a message to the business owners and the people thinking about starting business here in Oregon. As governor, I will no longer detour business and drive jobs away. Instead, I want to create a tax incentive that will a tax incentive for businesses and industries that hire our American citizens. So the more people we hire, the more tax incentive our businesses will get. This will be huge for adding jobs and businesses here in Oregon. And I want to create extra tax incentives for businesses that choose to open up shop inside of our smaller counties, our counties with less than 150,000 people in them. I want to give them tax incentives so that we can start boosting up businesses and jobs in all of Oregon instead of just Portland and Salem. I want to spark the job market here. I want to cut the red tape that hampers our logging industries, our fishing industries, our agriculture, and so much more. I want to take our forests. I want to clean the forest floors, thin the old growth, while planting new growth. I want to stimulate our forests and prevent fires at the same time. We can stimulate logging. We can promote our logging all over this country. And we can once again begin to flourish here in the state. Next, the fishing. For far too long, our fishing industries have all but gone extinct here in Oregon. We used to have proud fishing and proud fishermen. And now our fishing industries and many other industries have all but vanished. The price of our fish have deteriorated. It's not even worth going out and getting the commercial fishing anymore. So instead, I want to open up the businesses, the industries, the ports. I want to get our business flowing, our fishing flowing. Now, I do believe that our fishing industries need some sort of regulation, because we can't just go out there and open up our fishing industries and allow all of our fish to be caught. But we can open up our ports, we can adjust the markets, open up our markets, and allow more fishermen to go back to work. We can cut some of the tape, the red tape that hampers that industry. As for agriculture, there are several different things we can do for our agriculture here. One of which is boost FFA programs all over the state. Our school lunch programs the food in our school lunches should be grown by local farmers here in the state. Each high school should have an FFA chapter. Each county should have its own chapter, at least. We should have gardens inside of our high schools that teach kids how to plant food, grow food, how to work the farm so that they can survive with their basic life skills. This would also cut the cost of our education. It would cut the cost of feeding our students, since much of our food can be grown right here at home. I want to promote our wineries on a national level. I want to promote different industries like 100% industrialization of marijuana as well as hemp. I want to create thousands and thousands of different jobs here, different businesses, different industries that are all based on the industrialization of both pot, marijuana, and hemp. I want to create tax incentives for farms inside counties with less than 150,000 people in them. I want to make sure that our farmers can keep their homes and keep their farms running. I do believe that by creating these certain tax incentives, it will lower the cost of business and of doing business, which in turn will help our farmers stay in business. Now, I want to continue with all sorts of different industries in Oregon because I want to put people back to work. I want to cut the business taxes and I want to cut the attack on our jobs here in Oregon. Now, to our veterans, I want to say we are very proud of our veterans. We take care of our veterans. And as governor, I want to continue taking care of our veterans. It is a goal of mine to become the most veteran-friendly state in America. I want to start by creating shelters for homeless veterans, shelters that specialize in feeding, clothing, medical needs, helps them get shelter, helps them get the medical, they'll have counselors for addiction, counselors for readjusting to post-military life, counselors that'll help them get their benefits. I want to create these type of shelters all over Oregon. I want to give back to the people that sacrificed so much for the state. I want to create more tax incentives for homeowners, for veteran homeowners here. Lower the property tax as well for our veterans here in Oregon. I do believe that by doing this, we can easily become one of the most veteran-friendly states in America. Veterans will flow to this state, and they will start piling in. Businesses will flow to the state, and they will start piling in. People will come to the state, and they'll start piling in. Before you know it, you have more people. The numbers in our smaller counties begin to grow, and then suddenly you have a bigger population with a louder voice. And no longer will Portland and Salem command and dictate the policies here in Oregon. So, for that moment, I want to continue. I want to talk about our local militias. You see, our current governor wants to ostracize. They want to create this persona that our local militias are somehow standing against our law enforcement or our government, when in fact it's the duty of our militias to stand when nobody else is, to stand for our Constitution, to stand for our rights when nobody else does. It's for that reason that I want to say thank you for them standing for our Oregon Republican senators that walked out on one of the most dictatoring bills Oregon has ever produced, simply because we've already voted it out as a populace. It's already been gone and voted. Yet our current administration, our current governor, wants to continue pushing this bill through. So our senators walked out, and the bill was dead on the floor. You see, I want to say thank you to those militias that supported them, that protected them, and continues to protect them today. And I want to continue protecting our militias by saying that when I'm governor, I want to produce a bill that will give our local militias the same access to military weapon grade that our National Guard has. Because I believe that it's their duty as well as ours to defend us from an overstepping of too large government that wants to step on our rights, that wants to control the population, and that wants to sick police and military on its own people. It's it's the duty of our militia to stand against some such atrocities. And I'm standing with our militia by making them exempt from all state gun laws, giving them the total access that our local and state National Guard has. By doing so, I believe that they continue and can continue to offer the defense of this state, the defense of our Constitution that our people and our residents deserve. Next, I want to talk to the taxpayers. To the taxpayers in every county with less than 150,000 people in it. I want to talk to you specifically because I have a plan. I have a plan to lower your income tax, your property tax, as well as your luxury tax. I want to make life much more sustainable for you inside these small counties all over Oregon. I want to build these counties. I want to build up the populations on these counties with strong-minded people who want to fight for jobs, who want to fight for industries, and fight for our constitutional rights. You see, the more jobs we add, the more tax benefits and tax breaks we add, the more people will show up, the more people will vote for us, and the larger our voice will become. What I'm talking about to all the taxpayers in Oregon is tax reform, welfare reform, budget reform, and so much more. We need to start cutting back on the taxes. We need to start cutting back on the useless spending, cutting back on the mandates, cutting back on the overstepping reach of our so-called government. As governor, I will do just that. I will cut back on welfare. I will cut back on the taxes. And I will create more money and more jobs for our budget. Now, to the gun owners, advocates, and activists, I say this. As governor, I will be the most pro-gun governor Oregon has seen in a long time. I am a proud supporter of the Second Amendment. I believe in my gun rights as well as I believe in yours. I believe that in no way, shape, or form does our politicians, representatives, or our government have the right to infringe upon our Second Amendment. At no point in the Second Amendment does it say anything about an age restriction. Does it say anything about exempting individuals based on criminal record, race, gender, or disability? You see, the Second Amendment clearly states, shall not be infringed upon. Yet we live in a state that's quickly writing a book on gun control laws. Now, to the first-time voters, I say, we need you. Look around. To the youth, I say, what happens when you don't vote? You lose the right to smoke a cigarette until you're 21. You lose the right to buy a weapon until you're 21. Isn't it funny how you can get married, enter the military, fight for this country, get divorced, but you can't smoke a cigarette? You can't smoke a joint, and you can't drink a beer until you're 21. Isn't that ironic? Now, what I'm offering you, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, is a chance for your voices back. I'm offering you a chance to never again have your rights took from you in the middle of the night without even a vote. I'm offering you a chance to understand that there's nothing more important than your most basic right to vote. And that we as individuals cannot give up that right willingly. We must partake in voting because every vote does matter. Every vote does count. And without it, if you choose not to vote, you have literally become part of the problem. You see, none of us want more taxes. None of us want less jobs. None of us want more government control in our lives. So it's time that all of us stood. Even the youngest of our voters. Because if they don't, their rights will be removed like everyone else's in this country. We can take, for example, exactly what they've already done. They've already took your cigarette rights. They've already took your marijuana rights. And they've already took your gun rights until you're 21. All over this state. Now's the time to step back. Now's the time to fight back. And now's the time to say never again will that happen on our clock. And to the never before voters, the people who swear the system is broke, I agree. You see, I believe that the two-party system is broke. I believe that I can no longer take part of popularity politics that's based on race, gender, and, well, BS. You see, false narratives have driven politics for far too long. We don't need a liberal left that's subverted into socialism, liberalism, globalism, and anti-Americanism. We don't need a right that's willing to sell us out to big farm companies and big bankers. What we need is people who are willing to stand for us right in the middle. We need legislation willing to stand for us right in the middle. That's why I have created the Americans First political party, a party based and designed to support your rights as an American citizen, because I refuse to stand on a side that has crippled this nation for far too long. And that's precisely why I've been an Americans First candidate. Now, as governor, I would also want to mention that I want to run on different ideas and aspects, one of which is welfare reform, tax reform, budget reform. I also want to push for an anti-corruption bill. I want to lower the cost of health insurance and redirect any and all funds that are allocated towards abortion in Oregon. And furthermore, I want to remind all the voters out there that I will be the most pro-life, pro-gun, pro-jobs, and pro-American governor that Oregon has ever seen. So please get out there and vote. Vote for me. Mark Duncan is Oregon's next governor. And together we will redeem this state. Thank you, and God bless. Have a great day. Please share. Please invite others in. Please subscribe if you're on my YouTube. Follow me. Let's get this thing going. Let's make this thing huge. Redeem Oregon. Vote for Duncan as Oregon's next governor. Thank you, and God bless.